There is a misconception in the Christian world in regards to an explanation. It seems to be the only verse that is referred to in regards to convincing Hebrew people that they should eat pork. People, for some reason, see that eating pork is a conversion from Jew to Christian. That is not true. And when some people see someone walking around with a hat like mine, or walking around with zit or anything like that, they automatically go, "That's a Jew. We need to convert that person." That is an old Roman order. Looking at someone and assuming of someone is not the Christian way. We're not supposed to do that. So, let me explain this verse. Freaking hair. Anyway, let me explain this verse. Got me looking like John the Baptist. Here in chapter 10, starting at verse 9 in the King James Version, and then I will go to this the Hebrew translation. So, on the morrow, as they went out on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour, and he became very hungry and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance. And he saw heaven open up, and a certain vessel descended unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter said, "Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean." And the voice spake unto him again the second time, "What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common." This is done thrice. That's 3 times. And the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. Excuse me. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, "Behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them." Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, "Behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come?" And they said, "Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that feareth God, and of good report among all the nations of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to bear the words of thee. Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea. And Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, saying, "Stand up, I myself also am a man." And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, Ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. God hath shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying. As soon as I was sent for, I asked therefore for what intent ye have sent for me. And then in this translation, which is the Complete Jewish Study Bible Insight for the Jews and Christians, Acts 10, verse 9, the next day afternoon, while they were still on their way and approaching the city, Kepha went up onto the roof of the house to pray. He began to feel hungry and wanted something to eat. But while they were preparing the meal, he fell into a trance, in which he saw heaven opened, and something that looked like a large sheet being lowered to the ground by its four corners. In it were all kinds of four-footed animals, crawling creatures, and wild birds. Then a voice came to him, Get up, Kepha, slaughter and eat. But Kepha said, No, sir, absolutely not. I have never eaten food that was unclean or treif. The voice spoke to him a second time. Stop treating as unclean what God has made clean. This happened 3 times, and then the sheet was immediately taken back up into heaven. Kepha was still puzzling over the meaning of the vision he had seen when the men Cornelius had sent, having inquired for Shimon's house, stood at the gate and called out to ask if the Shimon, known as Kepha, was staying there. While Kepha's mind was still on the vision, the Spirit said, 3 men are looking for you. Get up, go downstairs, and have no misgivings about going with them, because I myself have sent them. So Kepha went down and said to the men, You are looking for me. Here I am. What brings you here? They answered, Cornelius. He's a Roman army officer, an upright man and God-fearer, a man highly regarded by the whole Jewish nation, and he has told by a holy angel, to have you come to his house and listen to what you have to say. So Kepha invited them to be his guest. The next day he got up and went with them, and accompanied by some of the brothers of Yafo. And he arrived at Caesarea the day after that. Cornelius was expecting them. He had already called together his relatives and close friends. As Kepha entered the house, Cornelius met him and fell prostrate at his feet. But Kepha pulled him to his feet and said, Stand up. I myself am just a man. As he talked with him, Kepha went inside and found many people gathered. He said to them, You are well aware that for a man who is a Jew to have close association with someone who belongs to another people, or to come and visit him, is something that isn't done. But God has shown me not to call any person common or unclean. So, when I was summoned, I came without raising any questions. Tell me then, why did you send for me? I read this to point out to you. Many people cite this verse of Acts 10, 9 through, 14?
I think 14. I'm not exactly sure.
Stating that Jesus says that we can eat pork now.
That is not what that means at all.
No,
It does not mean that we can eat unclean foods.
it's not what that means at all. When you read the word, when you have received the Holy Spirit, He will give you your own understanding. He will give you the true understanding of what it means. I have not seen anywhere in the Bible where it says, God says eat pork. But I have seen in the Bible where God says not to eat pork and unclean meat.
God has not called us to... Okay, let me start over. God is not... He did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. So if it's in the Old Testament, it pretty much applies to the New as well. It's not suddenly, oh, God's changed his mind. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
I'm making this video. My wife and I are speaking about this to let you all know that personally, that's just one of the many verses that people seem to not have understanding on. And they use this to mislead and to misguide and to get people to do this and do that. They're using the word and manipulating the word to get people to go against it.
Out of context.
Out of context. I don't think that you should eat an animal that is a living trash can. Pigs are cute animals, but they'll eat garbage if you dump it in the pen. That's what they did long when the Jews were about and so on. And the Jews knew that in Rome, when Rome was about, when it existed, and the Jews were in the city and they saw the pigs walking around and eating up the garbage, and the Romans wanted to be separate from the Jews, so the Romans ate the pigs. And these pigs were eating up all their food, so they ate up all the pigs. And then they told the Jews to eat the pigs too. And it was a constant fight because basically the Romans, as are still this day, have been and seem to have always stuck with this Antichrist spirit of needing to be worshipped and needing to be right, which is rooted in pride. I honestly don't care if anybody tries to fight me on this. The word is the word. It is written. It is plain and simple there.
God has made these dietary laws for a reason. It's not to take away your fun or,
Show me the benefits of eating this stuff compared to the negatives.
My health has increased since I stopped eating that in 2016.
I've lost a lot of weight since I've stopped eating pork. I used to have a lot of weight on me, and I stopped eating pork. I stopped eating all that unclean flesh, that shrimp and all that stuff, and I've lost a lot of weight. It doesn't matter if I eat it here and there. And another thing is, I'm a Hebrew. I'm a Jew from Judah by blood. If I eat a rib off a plate, I just need to make this clear. If I eat some ribs off a plate, doesn't mean I've converted from Judaism to Christianity. I've followed Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, since I knew about him. So I'm making it clear to let you know that just because you make somebody eat some kind of meat doesn't mean they converted. That's ridiculous. And God did not come to do away with it and all of that. I just need to make that clear. Shalom.